Good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world. You are here tonight on ATGN. We are about to witness the Australian Nationals top 8 double elimination playoff matches held in Melbourne, Australia at the beautiful Games Laboratory. I am joined here this evening with none other than Mr. Andrew R. Andrew, you were down in Melbourne. Tell me how things went and what we're looking at here tonight.
Thanks for having me in the studio tonight. Nationals for Australia. It was a really amazing tournament, actually, because first off, we had 80 people.
Yes.
So for a tournament in Australia, that's a really big
number.
That
is monstrous. I mean, we're looking at, say, regionals we held in Brisbane. We got, was it 30 odd?
30 odd, yep.
Yep, okay. So everybody around the country turned out to come to Melbourne for the Nationals. 80 odd people.
Yeah, so 10 people from Queensland. That's
yes.
where we are, travelled down to represent.
Yes. And of course, in this game we're watching now, we've got Alex on the right-hand side, who is our last Queensland representative in the top 8.
Yep.
And he's playing Jesse in this particular game.
Sure is.
Yep.
So I didn't get to play Jesse myself, but Alex was one of my testing partners.
Yes.
You know, after regionals, we both made the top 8 and we thought, all right, we'll practice our decks.
Yes.
And, we trained. Alex chose very quickly.
Yes.
He's going to go with New Earth Hub,
right.
One of the new identities.
Yes.
Out there, and it's powerful.
Yeah, well, apparently, I think in statistics, New Earth Hub turned out above and beyond all other identities for the corporation. Is this not...
That's true.
Yep, okay.
Most played corporation of the Nationals.
Yep, for sure.
Top 8, it was well represented.
So, of course, Jesse started off there, and I think that was our classic, Ice Ice Money.
Ice Ice Money.
And we have to play the music.
Number one stuff.
And then Alex has come back, of course, across the other side of the table with a...
Alex is playing a very similar deck to what he played at the regionals, and it's basically a virus recursion Andromeda. So when you're playing Andromeda this style these days, you're sort of looking at how to spend your influence. And he's gone with that parasite recursion sort of clone shipping style, data sucker.
Yes.
Eat its way in and get in pretty much anywhere.
So essentially an evolution of something that has been happening now and scored out of hand. What are we looking at there?
Hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover.
So he's just given over a bad pub. He's actually handing his token.
Yeah, that's right. I prefer to use my Team Covenant beautifully crafted bad publicity tokens. Thank you, Alex.
So Wayland's doing what Wayland does.
Yes.
Which is your classic Wayland. Make a ton of cash early.
Yes.
And sit back and sort of go, all right, come at me.
Pressure's on. Come at me, bro. As they say.
What are you going to do?
That's it. And of course, I've played against Alex before, and he likes to use those very intimidating, very large poker chips.
As his money. Yeah,
that's it. So it's a
classic
bit of,
Alex.
It's not a slight against Team Covenant and the beautifully crafted chips. It is Alex saying, "You can come at me, bro," but
he wants to do his own thing.
That's right. I have a wall of money in poker chips.
So the Andromeda deck's, fairly standard.
Yes.
But also, he's played it so long, he's really good with that deck.
Yes.
He knows it inside out. He's seen against all identities. He's definitely played Wayland before. What we are now, from a player point of view, we're looking at Alex setting up his turn here. He's got to figure out now, is this a Wayland Scorched or Wayland Glacier? There's not much option with Wayland these days.
Yeah.
At the moment, there's beautiful new cards coming that are going to advance Wayland a long way. But for now, he's got to sort of watch out for Scorched. And that often sort of means make a ton of cash. Protect yourself against that sea source.
So sort of sit there and just build up a little bit more than you probably would against a lot of other identities, like run earlier perhaps on, various other identities. But at this
slow
case...
you down a little bit until you've got the money to sort of match them. Jackson down, that's not good. He's going to start looking for pieces in his hand. He's going to start putting together either a kill or something like that. So he's got to sort of sculpt his hand. He's chucked out in the archives.
Absolutely.
And even if you go and have a look there and force that Jackson to be trashed, you've now made a successful run and you've opened yourself up towards retaliation from Wayland.
And so anyway, there's Alex has done his special order into what he's looking for early. He's looking at a fairy there. Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think? The best choice there at the moment is probably most scared of sentries, obviously, if he's gone for a fairy, but
Corp to
start to res something.
Ice.
Yeah, that's right.
You can faceplant a lot of Wayland Ice reasonably early. The only thing I'd be really concerned about would be Data Raven.
Yes.
In which case you could jack out, quickly click for credits or make some money to try and buffer yourself against.
And do you think Alex is also thinking now getting a fairy out because there's a hostile takeover on the table if there is an archer on the table?
Once
Is
again,
that his...
If he hadn't played the fairy out, Archer's not
Archer is not an issue, that's right. So
go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And of course now there's ice across the table, so cards are being dumped into archives. We've got ice unresed across the board on Jesse's side of the table. Where do you think Alex is looking at the moment? He's sort of...
doesn't seem like Alex. Alex is a methodical, well thought out sort of runner.
You don't think maybe he's not seeing what he would
could be
like to
nervous.
be seeing?
Yeah, be a little nervous.
It is top 8 double elimination, so
he's still putting out more breakers, even though he hasn't checked any. There we go.
And there's a play secret. All right, okay.
He might feel a little bit more confident now, but I'd have expected personally. To see a few face checks, try and get some ice up, especially on R&D.
Yes.
And HQ because you're looking to set up your siphon, cycle to try and get that money down.
So you think there would have been a hit on HQ at very least by this point in time, and then
Wayland has to have agendas, flooding in. That's one of the drawbacks of them right now is that the agendas will sit in the hand for after about turn 4 to 5. That's where they'll be.
There's another hostile takeover that's popped out of Jesse's hand. So what are we looking at over here? Alex is building up. Is that Alex building up his credits just in front of the agendas there? Is that his credit pool, do you think? Or
Yep, so...
It's about 10...
Stacks of 5 maybe there?
Yep.
10, 15? I'm not sure.
All right, so I think
We're
he's looking
not
at
seeing
10 credits there, perhaps.
He's got a couple of...
So there's not really anything... I mean, you would think he should be being a little bit more aggressive by now.
I would like to have seen... Here we go.
Okay, so he's account siphoning blindly into...
Quandary, the worst thing. That's a code gate that's going to bounce him because that's the one breaker he
that's the one breaker he doesn't have.
So if he'd seen that, he could have special ordered
so if he jumped into that earlier, just got it popped over.
I'm just going to put this down to top 8 nerves.
Absolutely.
Because I've played Alex.
Yes.
He's a champion.
Absolutely, yes.
This is...
solid all the way through.
I
There's
haven't
no
seen
doubt
this
about
game before, so looking at it, I'm just like, This doesn't seem the Alex that I've been playing against.
And Alex, if you're listening, we're not in any way...
Love you, bro.
That's right.
You're a champion.
Yes, there's no backstabbing or anything going on here.
But I'm worried where you're going with this.
Yeah, that's right. Pull it out, son. Pull it out.
What's your plan?
Come on, Queenslander.
Why haven't you taken a second bad pub? What's going on?
Yeah, where is your second bad plug from your other hostile takeover? Oh, dear, what's happening? But I guess when you're playing against 80-plus players, you make it into the top 8. You fought your way through. How many rounds did it take to get to the top 8? Was it 6 rounds? 5 rounds? 6 rounds?
That's a good question.
It was all a blur for you too, wasn't it?
Oh, wow.
You just slipped out of the top 8.
rounds.
Let's let everyone... 7 rounds to get
rounds
to...
of Netrunner, 55-minute rounds, which are really short.
Relatively short compared to the usual... Yeah, okay.
55-minute rounds, no break.
Mm-hmm.
It was a relentless grind, like a lot of these big tournaments are, to getting through and just being where he is. Alex did so well.
Absolutely.
We trained for it though. We played
putting the hard yards
Hub because we wanted fast decks.
Yes,
that would finish on time.
Yes,
under stressful circumstances, and those decks can really. Turn around. It's very powerful.
I'm excited to see a new Earth Hub deck in action because, of course, being out of the game now for quite some time, I haven't had the beauty of the revolution that continues to be the NBN.
It's one of those powerful mechanics tied into the actual identity.
Yes.
And what a corporation wants is economy. You want to draw power.
Yes.
Having it built in like that just makes it a natural sort of choice.
Absolutely.
The deck drives itself.
Yes.
And that in a tournament like this where you want to do well, certainly a favoured identity at the moment until new cards come out.
Yes. And of course, that's the nature of the living card game, isn't it? The evolution that continues and things come in and out of vogue.
That's why we love it.
Yep.
It's constantly changing. New cards come, new decks rise, and old decks fall, and the cycle continues.
I tell you what we're looking at right now, though, is a lot of money on each side of the table. We're looking at 16 credits on the Wayland side.
Well, Alex is trying to avoid a double scorch.
Yeah.
And so traditionally the way you do that is make a ton of cash.
Yes. So if you've got money... Yes.
He's got a Plascrit out, and he's probably got 4 cards in hand. So I begin to
You're not think he's worried about, say, a Stephen Woolley triple scorched or something over the top like that? Or...
You do have to be aware of snare.
Yes,
it certainly takes us back to one of the rules of running is...
Yes.
Don't run last click.
Don't run last click.
Stick the snares around.
That never stopped me, though, dude. If it's there, it's there. Let's just run.
You're certainly famous for your boulder attacks.
You should have killed me more often. Anyway, so at the moment we're sort of...
We've got the luck.
It feels like really Jesse has the power... As Alex isn't really running, he's not putting pressure on at this moment, and Jesse's just drawing,
I'd want to see R&D soon. Many turns ago, but as time goes by, stuff needs to be res.
Yeah.
You need to, especially this Andromeda deck, you need to see cards before the corporation.
Yeah. And I mean, Alex had an early opportunity to shut down Jackson Howard there.
The scoring server and now behind Jackson there is being built now.
That's it. And so Jackson gets to keep churning out cards. Yeah.
I'd almost be looking at, trying to see a few cards off R&D first.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain HQ would be worth legworking. I can't quite see his hand at almost an Atlas. But yeah, I know he's chucking.
he's constantly, that Jackson Howard is putting stuff into his hand that he's constantly
that's a classic
dumping into.
He's sculpting.
Yeah, that's it.
So were Alex to run archives, Jackson would disappear immediately, I could guarantee you.
Yes.
To recycle those back to R&D, which would be your next point of attack, possibly.
Yep.
But Jesse is brilliantly sculpting his hand.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's setting up a kill.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I haven't quite seen, the influence in the cards, so it's just a guess.
Yeah.
And so, obviously Alex, top 8's playing it safe.
Yep.
He wants to confirm.
Well, so there was a run. Was that a run on archives just to essentially get rid of that Jackson Howard? So, I mean, it's not the worst move. I'm surprised whatever is protecting archives didn't see the light of day. So,
it could have been an ice wall for all we know.
Yep.
And it's not worth the cost.
Well,
of
not against Corona. That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Corona will walk through that for free. Even a wall of static now with 2 bad publicity. Even though I see one.
If Alex is aware of the second bad publicity, that it should be on the table.
There we go.
And what have you got there? Sunshine and...
He's chucked a Scorched. That's interesting.
So are we thinking maybe Jesse's sort of setting up now to score behind that wall of previously Action Jackson's wall?
Well-played Wayland is that if the Scorch isn't on...
Yep.
Switch to big money, big ice, glacier, and just freeze them out.
Pop them down and score them over.
You've got to sort of draw their cash out. So that's the tough part, is sort of drawing a run into a big server, drawing out getting rid of the ferry, draining a lot of money, and then you taking tempo and scoring your agendas, and that's sort of the more technical part.
Yes.
Of playing a Wayland identity like this, once Scorched is off the table.
Yes.
But oh no, power shutdown. Yeah, there goes Ferry.
Yep.
Good. So the scoring. So Archers are back on.
And so now I think at any point now we might start to see things being scored out of that remote server. Yeah, that's right.
Alex doesn't have some breakers in hand that he's just sort of holding for the right moment.
That's right. Got a couple up your sleeve.
And here we go.
But there we go. It's installed. And so where's Alex just taking money off?
Daily cast. So that's just 2 credits each turn. So that's pickless economy, which is great.
Excellent. Yes. And the money is there. I mean, if we're looking at stacks of 5, perhaps stacks of 4.
Mr. Lee means he's digging.
Yes.
He's still looking for
So
the...
what? Yeah, I mean, at this point, what is he looking for?
So unfortunately, Alex probably doesn't have the breakers in hand that he wants.
Yes.
So he's going to give that agenda away.
Yeah.
This game is slipping fast.
Yeah. It looks like a fair amount of top 8 nerves, as you've said before, because
It was a
he
slow
could have been
start.
far more
Andromeda
aggressive, I
is
think.
very aggressive early.
Yeah. And he didn't really seem to take advantage of that.
Because Wayland was clearly sort of drawing to sculpt the hand into a kill or whatever it is they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And while they're trying to do that, that's a really good opportunity to pressure early,
Uh-huh.
then build your rig. Alex was perhaps a little slow. I wasn't there, so it's hard for me to sort of criticize and go, well, I should have done it.
He may have seen a handful of shit. I mean, let's put it bluntly. The clutter was there.
Often with Andromeda, you don't see a handful.
Well, you would have thought so, but I mean, I don't recall him mulliganing. Maybe he mulliganed straight off.
It was a decent hand.
You would think
I'm
that.
just worried maybe he's just playing a bit slow. But
And there's a double
props to Jesse. He's switched his game plan away from that scorch kill to this beautiful iced up server.
And a double advance, of course, going on to whatever is behind there.
And Alex got special order,
Special
so that
ordered
will
again.
be your code gate breaker. Surely. Yep.
There he is.
Schedule.
Good old Gourds.
Classic. Still good.
It's almost tugs at the heartstrings. Back to the corset.
The good old days,
That's
Big
right.
Red Kate when you could play Gordians, roll on out and break anything.
And according to Alex, you just play Big Rig Andromeda these days. So he's attempting.
The beauty of this Andromeda deck and why it's in the top 8 is it has answers to everything.
Yes. Another
With your
fairy going down now,
and
of course.
Your parasites, you can get rid of a lot of pesky ice. You've got all the good breakers. You can shoot them out.
And they're scoring on Jesse's side
That's
of the
a
table.
3-pointer. That is...
Come on,
Government contracts.
Government contracts, of course.
Click, click, 4 credits.
And of course, you work in the government, so that reclining in your chair, you're well and truly
That's
familiar with. I'm
basically-
surprised you didn't pick that up straight off the bat. So
It's basically me at work. Yeah.
that's right.
So Jesse's now on match point.
Yes, indeed.
Just as Alex finally got the pieces he needed for his suite.
Yes.
And when I say that, I also just note that fairies, with a clone ship, will get you in anywhere, basically 3 deep, unless there's 3 archers guarding that remote.
Yeah,
That's going to get in somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Now's a great time to get your siphon going.
And I still feel like Alex has forgotten the second bad publicity there from the hostile takeover. So, I mean, not that...
It's possible that we missed in the early stages it being removed. There are some Wayland cards that actually removed bad publicity.
Oh, very true, yes.
I didn't see any go by. That doesn't mean that didn't.
Yeah.
In all the fuss, we'll be too busy yapping on.
Right now, Alex appears to still be,
So
digging. I mean, Mr. Ling, he's got a
Well, he
plethora
siphoned-
of money across the table.
He did a siphon. Obviously, now you know he can get in.
Yeah.
Jesse just sort of ate that,
Um,
as you do. And here he goes. Okay, so we have a card down in the scoring server.
so say that's a winning card he's put down there.
Project Atlas, for example.
Yes,
So
exactly.
2 for 3, he can score it next turn.
Would you only put that down now? Say if you're looking at, I would even predict 2 sentries, potentially blocking
Well, with clone chip,
Alex's
you're sort
way
of
in there.
fairly safe.
Yeah, you would think
This is
so.
strange. Okay, he's ignoring what maybe he thinks it's bait.
Yeah, okay.
However, a match point, I don't know if you can ignore that.
So he's click to install, click to draw with Mr. Lee.
Yeah.
Now he's click to run.
All right, karate chop.
So third click running on the remote server. What's Jesse got now?
It could be a snare for all we know.
He's looking.
That
Well,
would be a great play.
that would be a brilliant
At
play.
match point, you've got a lot of options about what to put down and
This is
draw
right,
out
yes.
a run. And
And I mean, at this point in the game, even a snare is essentially, you've drawn the run, but
it's not Resident which is always a bad sign.
I can't see how many cards Alex has in hand, so I don't know if it's going to be a big drama. There's enough money on the table right now to get through, so...
It's clearly one of the R&D interface not to die to snare.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
So
true.
I played that first, which is use of a valuable click and
Yes.
lowering his hand size right before this
And so
said
we've got...
snare that we
That's right. We're just theorizing here. Jesse's obviously deciding what to res here. Do you think?
If he doesn't res anything, I'd almost be tempted to jack out personally. Once again, I haven't seen this game, so I'm...
Well, once again, this is the nature of this beautiful game, where there is the bluff, there's the counter bluff, there's the I'm not resing anything. You can run into this right now. Oh, Project Agos. No, wait. So
I certainly did my fair share. Of
I've got a
fluffing
feeling
out
that
jams.
Alex has jacked out. I think Alex has jacked out of that run.
Well, with no res of any of the ice, you sort of think, well, that feels like a trap.
But ultimately, at this point in the game, surely you would still access that.
Oh, it wasn't.
See? There you go.
Oh.
So, ultimately, Alex
Oh, my
was
goodness.
bluffed out of that game at the very end without accessing that card.
Alex, I would have jacked out.
You would have jacked out.
Yeah.
See,
No
balls
ice
to the
res.
wall, I'd be looking at that card. You need to look at that card every day of the week. It depends, of course, how many cards Alex had in hand. If he thought it was a snare, had run, only had 2 cards in hand.
Well, it was match point. You do have to really consider checking everything, which is
That's
where
right.
the corporation
So-
can get you. Either way,
Yes.
it was not a great enviable.
It was not, that's right. Too easy. So we'll catch you on the flip side, everybody, with the next game in the double elimination format for...
Australian Nationals at Melbourne.
There you go.
You're with ATGN.